You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
It used to be that calling a film a turkey was an insult. Nowadays, there's actually an audience for some of the worst movies ever made.
Baby, you are gonna go broke showing turkeys like these.
Now we're talking turkey.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
It's turkey time. Gobble, gobble.
Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of Let's Talk Turkeys. I'm Movie Miss, and I'm being joined today by my co-host, Miss Nikki Flicks. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
So today, I can see you're excited. We're going to be talking about the 1982 turkey of a film, Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch.
Did my father say anything to you the night he died?
I thought he was crazy, out of his mind. He's hanging onto a Halloween mask. And what he said was, they were going to kill us. All of us.
I think my father ran into trouble somewhere between here and Santa Mira. I feel like a goldfish.
Ah, there's Mr. Cochran now. A great man, Colonel Cochran. A true genius.
You don't really know much about Halloween.
How would you like a guided tour?
Oh, I want a mask.
There you are.
You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Happy Halloween.
And we're releasing this on midnight on Saturday. So basically Halloween. This will be our Halloween episode.
That's right. No more days till Halloween. Halloween. Halloween.
Oh, we're going to have that stuck in everybody's head, and I fucking love it. Before we jump into anything about the movie, I want to know, before we started recording, you mentioned you just watched this yesterday, but when was the last time before yesterday that you had seen this? And what are your overall thoughts?
Maybe like 10 or 15 years ago. I think I rewatched it. I saw it one time as a teenager and was like, oh, that's why I didn't ever see this movie. Got it. Then I watched it again like 10 or 15 years later. Like maybe I just was being a hater. Nope. Still not a fan. Then I watched it again yesterday. I was like, yeah, this is a hot pile of steaming garbage. But okay, yeah, let's discuss.
Oh, so I'm with you. I think I saw it around the late 80s for like first time and thought, what the hell am I watching? This isn't Michael Myers. This is terrible. And then again, several years later, still thought it was hot garbage. And then again, a couple days ago, I had to buy special edition Blu-ray for myself because I thought, why not live on the edge? Worth it because this movie is so bad. I can see myself rewatching it through the years, like every 10 years or so, just because.
Oh, okay. So you're into self-mutilation. Got it.
So this is a turkey. Rotten Tomatoes score, critics of 41%, audiences of only 27.
That makes perfect sense.
Now, they were planning on, after Halloween 1 and 2, even though 2 was the sequel, they kind of consider it one story, kind of like Jaws 1 and 2, kind of go together. So they were hoping after that to branch off and start an anthology type thing with the Halloween name by doing different stories that take place on Halloween night. And this was going to be the first. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were on board with that.
Right. And it's a cool concept. And we've seen, you know, obviously there's lots of Halloween anthology movies and TV series and horror anthologies where it's like it's the same universe, but not the same story. I get where they were going. They were definitely a little ahead of their time with the idea. However, this particular idea, I maintain, hot pile of garbage.
So, filmed in California, and the Silver Shamrock Novelty Factory was a milk bottling plant. I guess their budget of 2.5 million went to work, some of it securing that in California. Now, it did a box office of 14.4 domestic. Are we shocked by that?
No, I think they had quite a few people opening weekend who were insanely curious and went, and then they spread the word that, you know, you would be better off sticking a hot poker in your eye. So then it just dwindled. They recouped their money though, so good on them, I guess.
So this was written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, his first gig in the writer-director chair, but he had been in production design on The Fog and Halloween with John Carpenter. So I think that's probably why he got the gig.
Did he not also direct the TV adaptation of It?
I believe
His name rings a bell. I think he directed it. So, and honestly, yeah, the problem I have with the movie isn't the director at all. I think he does an okay job with what he has. It's the material, and then
He's
well, your
also
cast,
the writer.
You okay? So he has no one to blame but himself. Sorry, Mr. Wallace. This is a terrible story. It's very convoluted. The actors leave a lot to be desired, particularly our hero ? Yeah, there's a lot to pick apart with this movie.
So let's dive into that part of it. The cast, as you mentioned, our hero, our leading man is Tom Atkins and his mustache.
It gets its own credit.
It's glorious. We have Stacey Nelkin, Dan O'Herlihy, Nancy Loomis, now Nancy Keys, and Joshua Miller. And then we can get to everybody else as we go. The IMDb plot. Kids all over America want silver shamrock masks for Halloween. Dr. Daniel Chalice seeks to uncover a plot by silver shamrock owner Connell Cochran. All right, let's dive into the plot.
Oh, yes, let's.
All right, so let me start out by saying real quick, Tom Atkins and his mustache.
So it's not Stacy Keach, which the entire time I'm calling him poor man Stacy Keach, and that's saying something. So, okay. I honestly, I kind of forgot and thought it was Stacy Keach, but yeah, this guy's mustache game, next level. Someone probably got paid a good chunk of money just to comb his mustache between
just
takes.
To be the mustache groomer on set.
Mustache groomer, yes.
So I wanted to just mention this movie, people think it's really about Halloween. It's not. I think it is low key about what a fucking sex magnet Tom Atkins is, because Here I was, fuck everybody.
Here I was thinking it was some sort of commentary about capitalism and consumerism, but oh no, it's actually about what a walking, talking sex stick this man and his mustache are. Because who doesn't want to immediately dress down and fuck a doctor who moonlights as a private investigator and leaves his kids in the lurch and also has a drinking problem? I'm not sure what the hell this guy is doing or why people want to sleep with him. I don't get it.
He is 100% the late 70s, early 80s B-movie version of 90s Michael Douglas. Like, he thinks in his mind he is supremely fuckable at all times.
Wow, that was a reach. Yeah, I really don't. I don't understand why. I mean, we'll get to it, but the women are the real scariest thing in this movie. Like, what is wrong with these women?
So our movie opens with a piercing synth score and opening credits roll. And I got a little excited when I see Mustafa Akkad Presents, because that's synonymous with Halloween. We get title card, and then we see Carpenter and Hill's names. So far, all familiar, all feeling good. Then we get the background of a pixelated looking graphic of a jack-o'-lantern, very
Yes.
Atari.
We get to see the creation of the 8-bit jack-o'-lantern graphic that is going to give us all seizures. Thank you very much, opening credits. Good job. Good job, Mustafa. What are you doing producing this movie, sir? You're better than this. Oh, God.
So then we get words on the screen telling us we're in Northern California. It is October, and it is Saturday the 23rd. Again, giving us all the familiar stuff here for Halloween movies. We open on a scene at night, a man running on a deserted street, and we see a car is chasing him. The man gets cornered in a scrapyard or junkyard of some kind.
I don't know. There's like 300 El Caminos around, so it's some kind of scrapyard. I don't know.
Then we get a good jump scare, though, when a man in a suit, and we get a music cue to tell us this is the time to jump.
Yes, in case you weren't aware, be very afraid of the man in the corner with the Casio keyboard, because he's here to scare the shit out of you if you have this thing turned up too loud. Oh my God. There is zero tension or action, and then all of a sudden the keyboard makes my cat jump off the couch. Really?
So the man in the suit starts choking this other man, and he manages to escape by freeing a car that is nearby by yanking a chain. It rolls down into them and pins the man in the suit between the two cars, complete with crunching sound.
It takes like a full 22 seconds for this car to roll toward the dude. It's the most anticlimactic. Like, the only thing tense about this is the same two goddamn notes on that Casio keyboard is making me want to throw something at TV, like make it stop, you know? But that car rolling toward this guy, like, so slowly, you could have knitted a sweater and then gotten up and walked away to avoid that car, sir.
So then the man grabs something orange off the ground and he runs away. So then we fade into an hour later on this dark and stormy night. We zoom in on a news report on a TV at a random gas station reporting that a 5-ton stone was stolen from Stonehenge 9 months ago. What?
We are just now getting word from a pigeon that flew all the way here from Stonehenge to tell us one of the stones, one of the henges is missing. What?
What?
Why are you reporting on this 9 months later?
And also, we'll address this later, but I have so many questions about how that even happened.
Well, honestly, those questions are as old as time, because what is Stonehenge? What the hell is a Stonehenge? To quote Elvis, look it up if you've never seen the music video. It's glorious. Anywho, I digress. Yeah. How did it get there? And how did someone go steal a piece of it? These are things we'll never know. How were the pyramids built? I do not know. Maybe the evil Irish witches have answers. Oh boy, here we go. So for those of you who like to play the drinking game, how many times does Miss lose the ability to speak because she's laughing? She's laughing so loudly, she's like transgressed into another dimension where you can't hear her anymore. The laughter becomes completely silent. I see her crying. You all can't hear it, but just picture her laughing so hard she's gone mute, because that's what's happening. Take a shot. It's probably going to happen quite a few times.
Yes, you'll be drunk by the end of this episode, I promise.
I mean, I'm drunk every episode, but that's neither here nor there. And that's the second one. Take another shot, bitches. All I can say is this scene kind of pisses me off, because you were getting the feels, the whole Casio keyboard, the opening credits, you saw the names you're familiar with. Now you're in a deserted gas station. So you're instantly thinking this is when Michael Myers is going to show up on his way into town, right? Like, because
yes,
he always hits the gas station so he can suit up, right? And kill somebody. That's just his MO. But no, like, thank you. It's a gas station for absolutely no reason, other than to fake you out and make you think Michael Myers is going to show up. Instead, it's this guy who we still don't know who he is. We don't know why we should care, but he's still being chased and he runs into this gas station. I honestly don't care. I just am happy that they changed the channel, because I don't trust that news source.
So when he changes the channel, we get the first, and this is another drinking game for this episode, but you might want to switch to water. This is the first time we get a taste of the Shamrock Novelty Mask commercial singing 8 More Days Till Halloween. And we get the full commercial. So we get a full taste of that melody.
Yep.
That's one.
As if that won't get stuck in your head. 8 more days till Halloween. I'm picturing, like Wizard of Oz, they're like alternating, bouncing up and down. 8 more days till Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what the London Bridge tune was like, in my opinion, genius. Because it gets stuck in your head immediately.
It's an earworm. Yeah. You can't stop singing it.
Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, super clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the horathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time. Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
So, like you said, the man just shows up at the gas station with his mask. And I feel like this scene should have been the opening of the film. This would have been more frightening and more effective to just have this ominous gas station and the man show up like, oh, they're chasing me. But that's not the case. So we get music cue enhanced jump scare when he scares the gas station employee out of nowhere and he says, they're coming, and he falls to the floor. I thought he was dead.
Yes, I'm terrified. There were men with bad haircuts in cheap suits who don't notice cars slowly rolling toward them coming for me. I'm scared.
So now we get a dramatic cut to Tom Atkins, Dr. Daniel Chalice. He's arriving to the home of his bitchy ex-wife.
This woman, okay, so we don't know Dr. Dan yet. I mean, once we get to know him, I completely understand this woman. I would act like the biggest, most raging bitch to this guy if he was my ex-husband too, knowing what a shitbag he is. We don't know that yet. So she just looks like the biggest bitch of all time.
Yes, and this is Nancy Loomis, Annie from Halloween. And he's got 2 children, a boy and a girl. They look about 9 or 10 to me. I'm not real good with that sort of thing, guessing children's ages. So they put on their silver shamrock masks that their mom got them because piss on those little plastic ones that their dad picked up.
That's right. I want to suffocate myself in full latex this Halloween, Dad.
So then they're sitting in front of the TV and we get number 2, the commercial. Yay, singing the song.
Yay, one day so Halloween. And I love that they're sitting about 6 fucking inches away from the TV and the mom's concern is turn that down, it's too loud.
Right.
That tells you everything you need to know about her as a parent. She's only concerned about herself, clearly.
So then we kind of pull back from the kids and she's bitching at him because we find out that he doesn't live there and he's supposed to be picking up the kids and he can't because he's got an important call to go to the hospital. And she does make a good point here. She bitches, you know, drinking and doctoring, good combo, because clearly he's been knocking back a few.
Maybe you shouldn't go try to help people or, you know,
right?
Perform minor surgery.
And then before he leaves, we get number 3. That damn commercial comes on again.
I know, and I'm seriously ready to punch somebody in the face. Like, it's making me so angry. Like, is that the real impact of that commercial? Isn't what it's going to do to the kids in the mass, it's what it does to you as a viewer. It makes you hostile.
Doing to you right now.
Yes, exactly. What I can't get over is the first introduction to Dr. Dan here. So like I said, he reminds me of a poor man Stacy Keach. There's something about him. He looks like a cross between that and then, if you remember Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live back in the day, he did this amazing skit where he had the makeup people do him up in whiteface and he went out in the world pretending to be a white man just to see it. And there was like a secret club and secret rooms that they would let him into because he's white.
Yes.
Okay. So why does this guy look like Eddie Murphy painted in whiteface and Stacy Keach at the same time? I'm so confused. This guy is the most confusing looking complexion, I guess. And like he has pancake makeup on, like they made him up pretty damn good.
Yeah, this movie was not meant to be seen in like really good HD picture.
Oh
like,
God, no.
So Dr. Dan gets called to that hospital. We cut to him getting briefed by the nurse and a gas station employee who has brought this collapsed man in who's not dead. And he's still clutching this little orange mask, even though he's passed out on this gurney. He's holding that mask. And they're all standing there in the hall. They're next to an open room. And suddenly, here comes number 4. The damn commercial comes on the TV in the room. This man on the gurney suddenly wakes up, sees the commercial, grabs Dr. Dan and says, they're going to kill us all. And he passes out. Okay. So aside from wanting to punch the TV because this is number 4 in like 6 minutes, they're not going to kill us all. you're wrong. They're just trying to kill the children. I think he's giving Dan this false sense of doom and gloom that doesn't need to be happening. It's just the kids. And he clearly doesn't like his anyway. So what are you worried about?
I was going to say it later, but I'll go ahead and say it now. I mean, the big evil plot here is that we're going to murder all the children who had to have these bougie special masks. Where's the problem? I don't see. I mean, kill them all. Kill them all. Maybe that's just me. I'm an evil bitch who doesn't like children. So, but okay, we're on the same page there. Calm down, Beyonce. They're not going to kill us all, just the kids. And not all the kids, just the ones that had to have that mask. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. I really don't.
So now we get the first taste of suave Dr. Dan, who is clearly just wants to fuck everybody, because he jokes with Nurse Agnes about taking a nap together in the doctor's lounge. Okay, number one, you cannot make those jokes at work now. That's sexual harassment, right? And he slaps her on the ass.
It was sexual harassment in the 80s too. It was. It's just people didn't go around saying you can't do that back in the 80s.
He thinks he's untouchable because he's so supremely fuckable in his mind,
I don't know what mirror this guy's looking in. Yeah, there is absolutely nothing attractive about this man. So I do not understand why the women are tolerating his nonsense.
Not even the bourbon aftershave that he's...
No, yeah. This guy probably smells like cheap whiskey and desperation. No, thank you.
So they leave that man alone in a room, asleep now, and he's still gripping that damn mask.
Yes, because he's unconscious. They took the time to change him into a hospital gown, and yet they left the mask in his hand? Huh?
So dumb.
Okay.
Now we get a mysterious man in a suit. And I believe this might not be him yet, but one of these men in the suit is called the Assassin, and he's played by Dick Warlock, who was the Shape in Halloween. I'm not sure if this one is him. He might be later. But in any event, this mysterious man in a suit enters the room, puts his black gloves on. So whenever somebody puts gloves on in a movie, they're getting ready to get their hands dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Our bad guy here covers the man's mouth, then plunges his fingers into the man's eye sockets, grabs under his nose, and pulls up, and we hear a snap. And I am going to say, I loved it. It's so gross.
It's really gross. They do a pretty good job of making it sound and look gross. I'll give it that. I enjoyed the gore factor. However, there are much more efficient ways to kill somebody. That's pretty fucking extra. Like, wow. Okay. So this poor guy, we still don't know who he is, why these men with bad haircuts in these cheap suits are chasing him, why they would go to such lengths to make him die a very, very excruciatingly painful death. We still don't know.
We have
no fucking clue. Nope. Yeah. Not at all.
So the man dies, drops that mask to the floor, and then we see the bad guy wipe his gloved hands off on the curtain. All the blood. Housekeeping is gonna be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see Nurse Agnes, who to me just is sassy and seems like she's been around and seen some shit. Like I like her, but she's easily rattled when she comes in the room and finds that man dead. Now the bad guy in the suit goes right past everybody. And so she starts yelling. Dr. Dan comes running out after hearing the screams and chases after the man. So we've gone from doctor to, I don't know, police. We're going to run and catch the bad guy now. Pick a lane, Dan.
So yeah, apparently we're getting the idea that this guy is a drunk and is a sleaze and hits on women indiscriminately, has no time for his children, but he's also somebody who will do what no one else is doing in a situation like that. Like that doesn't quite track. I'm not understanding his character.
And this is all in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm with the gas station guy because he dropped this dude off and got the fuck out of that hospital. He was like, I'm done here. I don't need to get involved. Peace. Have a good night. Going back to work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to know where hospital security was at this point.
You're looking at it. Dr. Dan is hospital security. Don't you feel safer?
Tom Atkins is Ed Chalice is a doctor, is hospital security.
Exactly. He is Mary O'Reilly O'Toole. Oh shit. This fucking kills me though. Okay. The way he just watches man in the suit just run out, get in his car, and he just stands in the doorway as if there's some magical boundary that prevents him from leaving the hospital. So I'm kind of confused there. it's like, oh, he crossed into the parking lot. I have to stay here. And then he just watches what happens next from afar. That makes sense. Kind of like, like when you steal some shit from the grocery store, they're not allowed to chase you outside. So, if you make it past the doorway, you're fine because they're just going to stand there and stare at you as you run away. Okay.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. The guy, he just watches the guy get in the car, douse himself with gasoline and light it on fire. And of course, the car immediately explodes.
Yes, because that's what happens when there is any kind of fire anywhere near a car. It just instantly explodes.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut now to the hospital full of police and fire personnel buzzing around, only identifiable by the hats that they have on. They were so sad.
Party City
Yeah.
fireman plastic hat. Yes. And I was like, okay. Since when do the firemen stick around and just hang out and have a cup of coffee and leave their hat on while indoors, far away from the fire? They left the smoking car just sitting there. They haven't completely put it out. They haven't taken it away for evidence. Nope, they're just going to leave it in the hospital parking lot and go inside and have a cup of coffee. Are these firefighters being like attracted to and turned on by Dr. Dan? Are they just completely losing their senses? I don't quite understand. Also, I would love to know why the entire movie up till this point has taken place at night. And Dr. Dan called up his ex-wife after all this melee to let her know he can't come pick the kids up tonight. So you're telling me that it's like 4:00 in the morning and he's still supposed to go pick up his kids, and now he needs to postpone? Wait, what? This is the longest night ever, and I've literally only been watching this movie for like 12 minutes.
And his excuse is because 2 men died tonight and they weren't accidents. You're a doctor
/ homicide detective.
You're not supposed to be shook by this. You should be able to see the dead people and then still go get your kids.
You're supposed to just clock out and go home. You're not supposed to try to solve the murder mystery, Dr. Dan. But as we know, he moonlights as a Lothario at large and also homicide detective. Okay.
This movie's so fucking fantastic. Oh my God. So now we fade into Sunday the 24th.
This is like number 6 or 7 now where Miss has completely lost her shit, cannot breathe, cannot talk. I mean... Oh, folks, this is like a whole box of tissue happening to wipe away these tears here.
So the dead man's daughter now shows up at the hospital to identify him while he's still lying in the bed.
I have never seen them allow family members to identify murder victims while they're still lying there in the place and position that they got murdered in. I have never seen or heard of this. This is not a thing. They do not allow this. They're in a hospital. The morgue is right fucking downstairs. You could instantly take him down and get him cleaned up before having him identified.
It's horrifying.
Oh my, no, the most horrifying thing is her perm. Okay.
So this is Stacey Nelkin as Ellie Grimbridge. When she first walked in and kind of smiled, which odd scenario to do that at the moment, but she reminded me of a young Elizabeth Berkley. I was getting Jessie Spano vibe. It was kind of weird.
It's a bad perm.
Yeah.
I think they have that in common. I can't fucking deal with it though, because they're bringing her into the room where it's not like he died of cancer. He did not die of natural causes. They're bringing her into the room where he was brutally murdered. His blood is on the curtains. And she walks in and instantly is so charmed by Dr. Dan that she just starts smiling. Okay.
Because he's over there in the corner leaning, just creeping, watching it all unfold.
Honestly, based on how she's dressed and how awful her hair is, we know that she has horrible taste. So this tracks.
So then we see Dr. Dan go down to a lab, unclear, where he hassles a female assistant named Teddy, whom he clearly has a past with. He begs her to look into the dead guy's ashes to see if he was on drugs.
Yes, we're going to test the car bomb dude's ashes to see if he was on drugs, because clearly he must have been. Once again, I have to ask, who made this guy head detective? He's a doctor. It's none of his business.
So Wednesday the 27th is the day now, forgot to mention. She makes no promises to him that she'll look into it, walks him to the door, but before they can say their goodbyes, he gives her a kiss and they laugh about the good old days. Playa, Dr. Dan.
Yeah, okay. She's just, he's left a long string of broken hearts in his wake. Let me tell you, including us, the audience.
He's mixing business with pleasure because he's screwing these women at work.
That's
Shame,
what
shame.
happens when you simultaneously have like 3 different jobs. Because I'm telling you, he's not just a doctor. He is also a homicide detective, clearly. And he's the hospital security staff. But you know what this movie really needs? I really need to see Dr. Dan sit in a bar alone and watch TV. That's what I need to see. That's what would get me going at this point.
And you are in luck. We're going to cut to Friday the 29th and Dr. Dan at a bar, day drinking. And on TV, we get a promo for the film Halloween, because that's going to be coming up. And I like that about their idea here for making this not part of the Michael Myers verse. So Halloween in this world is just a movie. But then we get number 5, the commercial, Silver Shamrock.
Oh, God. 2 more days till Halloween. Change the fucking channel.
Number 5.
Get rid of that thing.
Count.
No.
So Ellie enters the bar.
Because she could smell him from afar, or I don't know.
The nurses told her this is where they would find him.
Where is that incredibly sexy doctor with the wonderfully coiffed mustache? Oh, he'll be down the street at the bar. They open early just for him. Okay.
Well, he's a big spender.
Yes.
She asks him if her father said anything to him the night that he died. He lies first and says he said something about her, like he loved her or something. And then he says, well, no, wait a minute. He actually said they're gonna kill us all. And he had a mask in his hand. So his interest is piqued as moonlighting detective. What does it all mean?
Because she has like this laundry list of places and people he was supposed to be around. She's like been doing all this legwork. Apparently, we're supposed to realize that she's also a amateur detective because she's been doing a lot of legwork. Where are the fucking police? Aren't the police supposed to be figuring out his last steps and who may have wanted to hurt him?
Well, they couldn't get those hats from Party City, so.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So naturally, we cut now to the two of them going to her father's closed general store, I guess, to look for clues to his death. Because that's what you do when you're a small town doctor and a civilian. You solve mysteries on your day off.
Yes.
Ellie tells the doc that she's done some amateur detective work, like you said, and figured out that her father missed a dinner date on October 21st, which was the day after he was supposed to go to Santa Mira to pick up some more silver shamrock masks from the facility. And I will just shout out that Santa Mira is a nod to the city that they use in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So I like that, at least. That's cool. Now, my question though, why was he going like a week before Halloween to pick up more masks? Because they're standing there and right behind them is a bin full of silver shamrock masks.
Yeah, they have this big display with the silver shamrock mask, but he was needing to go to the, so apparently they don't ship. They insist that you come pick it up in person.
Yeah, what?
Maybe the whole factory insisting on customers picking up the product in person is a way to drum up business for this small town. I don't know. It seems to be a lot of hot activity at the motel in town. There's a whole lot of shit going on in this motel. So maybe that's what it's all about. I don't know.
Well, she tells the doc, I'm not leaving till I figure out what happened to my father. So there you go. And of course, Dr. Dan just smiles at her like, what do you say to that? So we cut to Dr. Dan now at a payphone, calling his ex-wife, telling her again, he can't pick up the kids. Now, yes. It's Friday the 29th. That makes Halloween Sunday. At the end of this phone call, he tells his wife he promises to be home in time to take the kids trick-or-treating. I'll call you Monday. And he hangs up.
Father of the year over here.
Is he just drunk and can't tell what day it is?
Pretty sure, because he's openly carrying around half a drank 6-pack with him. It's behind him on top of the payphone. And I'm thinking, the 80s. Payphones and day drinking out in public. When anything went back in the 80s.
So then Ellie is there in her car and they're getting ready to go. And we see on the TV in a window display right behind Dr. Dan, number 6.
Don't you fucking say it.
The commercial is a-playing.
No.
Take a drink. So they get in the car and Dan rides shotgun as they road trip up to Santa Mira. And they discuss, I don't know what map, book, almanac, encyclopedia he's reading from. They discuss the local history of Santa Mira, the founding of Silver Shamrock Novelties, the owner, Connell Cochran, and the whole thing about the factory. And where did he get all this information from? There's not like he's holding a Kindle.
Right. So apparently something is happening here, and it may or may not have something to do with Stonehenge. It definitely has something to do with Irish people invading small California farming towns and taking them over and building giant factories. I'm kind of in the weeds here still. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
So they roll up to this factory, and Ellie suddenly, after they're there, says to him, well, I don't like that we don't have a plan. They have no plan when they get there.
I don't like that I paid to see this movie and you have no plot. That's where my problem is.
But I did like that Dr. Dan immediately comes back at her, suggesting, let's go back to that gas station, ask a few questions, and then check into the local motel so we can talk privately.
Yes, because sitting alone in a car is not private when you're talking. He needs a fix. Okay, he's out of beer. Obviously, he had like 4 car beers on the way. They're gone. That's why he wants to go to the gas station. He needs a re-up, and then they're going to hit the motel. So between the fact that this man is physically very unattractive to look at, he probably stinks. He's clearly lost his job at the hospital by now because he hasn't even shown up for work. He's abandoned his ex-wife and children. He's probably a deadbeat, probably does not pay that child support. On top of all that, I really don't understand. And then to top it all off, we still have a plot that makes no fucking sense. I do not understand what is happening in this town, and it's about to get a lot weirder. There are really weird things happening in this town.
So they go back to that gas station, and I did love to see the price of gas, $1.32, $1.46. That made me nostalgic. So then I guess the same guy that runs the gas station runs the motel, because he walks them over and shows them to a room after Dr. Dan says he and his wife need a room. That escalated quickly. And why does this plan require he get handsy with her in public? Like, what?
So it's because they're undercover, you see. They got to fool this gas station attendant / motel manager into thinking they're married, see? It's all part of the ruse. Jesus. And she's off again, folks. This is quite painful. It's hard to watch, and it's really hard to talk about.
It's hard to talk about. So, okay, Rafferty here shows Ellie a room. Dr. Dan sneaks off, runs down to the lobby, sees that Ellie's father's name is in the guest register. And all I thought at this exact moment was, man, the good old days before computers when snooping was easier. All he had to do was look in the book.
Right.
Right.
It was very easy in the 80s. You could get all kinds of info.
So then now outside, Rafferty and Ellie are standing there watching Connell Cochran's car drive by, the owner of Silver Shamrock, because he points that out. Then Dr. Dan gets back and an RV comes rolling up, this big Winnebago, and almost hits him. And a family comes popping out. We got dad, mom, and a young son about 12 who hops on his bike to ride off and flips his parents off. Fuck that kid.
Okay, yeah. Once again, I'm thinking this movie, every time there is a child on screen, they're going really hard with trying to make you root for the kill the kids motif, because the kids are just fucking obnoxious. Like this kid is
terrible.
This little nightmare of a child. I'm here for watching Dr. Dan nearly get hit by like 2 or 3 different cars in this parking lot. I'm just like, someone please take him out.
Yes, next a woman comes barreling up and leaps out of her car, complaining loudly as she passes by them that the factory screwed her order up again and she's got to come pick up masks 2 days before Halloween. Isn't that usually when everything is in the clearance bin?
Once again, they're like I said, they're trying to like lure people to stay at this motel. They're trying to lure them all into the factory. What the fuck is going on? If the goal is to kill the kids, then just you would think they would want expedited FedEx next day shipping with these masks.
Right?
Not making people drive their ass all the way out to Northern California to get them.
So now this is my favorite. Inside their room now, Ellie and Dr. Dan came back to their room because they had to formulate a plan in private. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Their plan is, let's go back to the factory. What? You were already there.
Yes, but this woman is so dumb, she couldn't come up with a plan while sitting in front of the factory. She had to go to a motel room so they could talk about how they need to go inside the factory. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, because the doctor suggests, well, maybe he needs to get a separate room because they don't know each other very well. This bitch is like, well, where do you want to sleep? Trying to sound all sexy, like, hey, guy.
It is.
I don't know you, and clearly you have a lot of problems, but my father just died. Want to bang? Are you
Well-
fucking kidding me? This bitch packed lingerie.
Before they get to that, though, don't forget, she has given him the goo-goo eyes, and he tells her, slow down. It's getting late. I need a drink.
Yes, it's been a good 43 minutes since his blood alcohol level is getting dangerously low. Okay, he's hypoglycemic. He needs a re-up. I'm telling you.
Then they get to the sexy business, which again, like you
Yeah.
said, she has one tiny little suitcase and of course brought lingerie. Where's
'Cause
his
that's-
bag?
That's what I'm thinking about when I go off to investigate my own father's murder. Getting laid? Question mark? What?
So they start kissing because everybody wants to fuck him. She's
Mhm.
all about it. All I could think too, looking at him, I'm like, what is he wearing? Sex Panther? Like, why is he so appealing to everybody? But he is.
Yes.
So now at dusk, an announcer over the loudspeaker, and this is where we get a cameo. Miss Jamie Lee Curtis is the curfew announcer and the telephone operator in this film. So over this loudspeaker announces that it is 6 p.m. and the curfew is in effect.
Okay.
Lockdown.
This weird little Northern California farm town that's overrun by evil Irish Stonehenge people has a curfew. Not really sure. Okay. And then, okay. But my favorite thing, my favorite character in this movie, characters is the guys with the bad haircuts and the cheap suits. So we haven't seen them for a while. Are we going to see more of them soon? I certainly hope so. That's the shit that gets my blood going. They're terrifying.
So we do get to see, because of the curfew, something weird's going on in this town. There's security cameras everywhere, and it's kind of a Big Brother. I don't know. It's just a weird, creepy town. Like, you don't want to be there. But Dr. Dan is out there walking around with a drink in a brown bag, slinking through a back alley. He gets stopped by this filthy looking man who asks for a drink and assures the doc that he doesn't have any diseases, so it's okay to share the drink. I lost my
Okay.
shit.
Sharks of the corn? Virus shark? Cocaine shark? Sharktopus? Yeah, those are all real movies. Join me, Steve Coates, as each week I take a comedic look at the bizarre world of sharksploitation cinema on Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast.
This filthy looking hobo guy is hanging out in this alley after curfew, but I'll trust you. So he pumps him for information. And he tells him, because he got a drink from Dr. Dan, he must be cool. I can tell you my secrets.
Mhm.
Tells him about Connell Cochran behind everything, the cameras, the curfew. I'm out of a job because of them. And he's yelling threats into the air. The hobo guy wanders off and starts singing the Silver Shamrock jingle. That's number 7, if you're keeping track.
No. I would have thrown the bottle at him.
Oh no,
Just
he's
knock
still
him out.
He's sucking on that bottle as he
Oh, yeah.
walks away.
Yes, baby needs a drinky.
So the hobo gets killed by 2 men in suits when one of them just pulls his head right off, just
Okay. Yeah.
straight up off his body.
So when they grab him, I had me a moment. Okay. There was this weird camera angle, weird shot. They are on either side of him. They've got him down on his knees. One of them is behind him. One of them is in front of him. And in my mind, I'm thinking, are they about to force this guy to escort them on a trip to Pound Town? Because that's what it's starting to look like. These guys are a little weirdly intimate with the murdery things, like the whole reaching into the eye sockets and feeling the skull separate. Like, these guys have issues. Okay. I don't know. There's something really weird about it. But then suddenly you just get pleasantly surprised if you're a gore fan with this beheading, which is kind of cool, but it definitely doesn't fit anything else that's happening in the movie. It's kind of
No.
confusing.
So then outside her room, Ellie bumps into Marge. And I guess that actress in real life was married to Tom Atkins prior to this at some point. So I thought that was interesting. But Marge, this cranky lady from earlier, points out that her mask is defective. And because Silver Shamrock logo came off, apparently I need to go to the factory and get all new masks. 2 days before Halloween.
Yes, because having the little silver shamrock thing on there is very important.
So now in her room, Ellie hops right out of the shower, naked, wraps herself in a motel comforter. Ew.
Ew. What? There's no towel. The room has no heat. There's no heater. Like, what the actual fuck is happening right now?
So in the lobby, Dr. Dan calls that lab assistant Teddy to find out about the ashes that they tested. And she says that they're metal, not human. Dr. Dan returns to the room and is greeted by Ellie in lingerie. And of course, they immediately get into bed and go right to the bone zone. But thank God they spare us and we don't have to see it.
It's honestly the scariest and most mysterious thing about this movie. Why in the hell do women find this man attractive? Like, what is going on
there? I'm telling you.
Yeah. And he called up his little side piece back at the morgue to pump her for information. Like, what?
So then we cut to after, and they're lying in bed, and the Silver Shamrock song number 8 plays on the radio.
As if I wasn't already disgusted by their post-coital bliss. Now that fucking song comes on again. Like, oh, I just threw up in my mouth.
So Dr. Dan promptly turns it off. Ellie immediately puts the moves and tries for round 2 because the doc is just so damn irresistible. But he stops her advances, asks, isn't she tired? Clearly not. She's got to have it. You and your mustache.
She's like 23 years younger than you. She is not tired, sir. Ugh.
As they're going to go ahead and go for round 2, we cut over quickly, thank God, to Marge in her room messing with the chip that fell out of the mask. And she's poking at it with a hairpin. To what end? Like, what was her thinking? And suddenly a blue laser light zaps her mouth from the chip. Her face is mangled. And as she's laying there dying, a large wasp or something of some kind comes crawling out of her mouth. I loved it.
So now we got the Silver Shamrocks have freaking laser beams coming out of them that melt your face and then create face bugs. Is that what's happening right now? Yep. What the fuck? Is that what they're going to do to the children? Please tell me that's what they're going to do to the children, because suddenly I don't even care what's happening. I'm here for it. All the kids have their eyes melted and then face bugs. Like, yeah, let's see that.
So Dr. Dan and Ellie run out to see Marge's body being taken away in a Silver Shamrock van by a bunch of men in white lab coats. Rafferty comes out and tells Dr. Dan that Mr. Cochran will take care of her. And here comes his black car pulling up. 44 minutes in, I clocked it. We finally get to meet our villain, and that's Dan O'Herlihy. And he's pretty menacing in this role. I did like this actor. They just didn't give him shit all to do. He, of course, assures everybody that everything's fine. She'll get the best care, and they leave. Shouldn't Marge be taken to a hospital?
There's no hospital in this small little town that's been invaded by evil Irish Stonehenge people who enforce curfews and have cameras up for no reason. There's no hospital. Okay. Silver Shamrock Factory is sort of like a one-stop shop where this guy will just kind of take care of everything. Got it.
Saturday the 30th now. Dr. Dan calls Teddy the lab assistant. I don't know if she's a morgue assistant or what, but once again, she says there are no human remains in these ashes. And he tells her to find out everything she can about Cochran and Silver Shamrock. Okay, number 1, doesn't she have a real job to be doing that has nothing to do with being an investigator whatsoever?
Pretty sure she's like an assistant in the medical examiner's office. So doing the investigative work when it comes to that stuff, no, that is not their job.
And also, number 2, it's not like she can Google him. That's
she can sit there and tell him, hey, this looks like pieces of an evil Irish robot. Okay, so she could do that for you, but where did the robot come from? She can't do that. That's not her job. She's supposed to be reporting that information to the police, not to moonlighting alcoholic homicide detectives who are actually supposed to be doctors.
So Teddy agrees, though. I will look into all that for you, but only if we can go out to dinner when you get back to town. I'm beginning to think this man has a magic penis.
There is something. This man has like Chardonnay flavored nipples or something. I don't know why all the
penis
bitches
grants wishes.
Yeah, they all be going cray around this man. Like, what?
What?
I don't see it. Even in the 80s, I was raised in the 80s. I've seen plenty of men from the 80s. There were plenty of them that were attractive. This guy, not one of them. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were a lovely human being, but
Oh, he's still with us. He's still with us.
This is not the guy you want to bone. Okay, Tom Selleck, Magnum PI, okay. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, okay. You Were Sex on a Stick, Don Johnson in that pink t-shirt, Miami Vice time. This guy, put him next to them. I don't see it.
So Dr. Dan and Ellie go to the Silver Shamrock offices.
Oh, okay.
And that family from the motel is there to see Mr. Cochran. He invites Dr. Dan and Ellie to join the family and him on the tour of the factory. So they all go, and they're going to see how the masks are made. The little boy asks for a mask, so Cochran puts a jack-o'-lantern mask on him. But he makes sure to point out, not that one, you want this one that's already been through final processing, quote unquote, which clearly means deadly chip.
Clearly that means Silver Shamrock with the freaking laser beam that creates face spiders. Got it.
That's right.
Okay.
So on their way out, Dr. Dan and Ellie spot Ellie's father's car hidden in a garage at the factory, try to run over and take a look at it, but the men in the suits shut her down. So they just leave peacefully. Back in their room, Ellie suggests leaving and starts to pack. Dr. Dan goes to the lobby to call the police, finally, but the call won't go through.
At this point, he's finally going to call the police and give them his, 2,000-page report on all the investigative work he's done up till this point.
Yes, I put this file together for you. You're welcome.
Only to find out none of the phones work, because of course they don't. That's another thing the evil Irish Stonehenge people do. They knock out all the phones. Okay.
And while in the lobby, we get Silver Shamrock commercial number 9. Take a drink.
Oh my God, stop. Make it stop.
So he goes back to the room and finds Ellie gone. And then 5 men in suits break into his room as he slips out the back. He runs over to the factory just in time to see Ellie taken from a car. He breaks in through a window and starts to search for her. That must be really close to the motel, the factory, if he ran there. So now inside, he's sneaking around. He finds a mechanical puppet thing sitting in a chair knitting, and he knocks her head off and exposes gears that make it work.
Oh, okay. It all makes sense now.
It does.
So apparently some people aren't people, they're robots. Okay. Good to know. Okay, there's robots in this weird town. It's a good thing we have our hero, the alcoholic, man whore, porn stash, former doctor who abandoned his kids to chase tail and become an amateur homicide detective. He's getting to the bottom of all of it. Okay.
Thank God.
Putting the pieces together.
So then we get to see him in action here. He gets into fisticuffs with a man in a suit. And this might be Dick Warlock, now that I think about it. And he beats him by punching him in the stomach so hard that he pulls out wires and a handful of yellow slime.
Apparently, if you punch these evil Irish Stonehenge robot guys just right, they spew vanilla pudding. Sounds great.
That explains my craving.
I wanted vanilla pudding and I wanted to punch children in the face. This movie really did things to me.
Suddenly, Dr. Dan is grabbed by more men in suits. Cochran enters and admits that he has Ellie. And he says, tomorrow is Halloween. And then we fade into daylight and the screen says, Sunday the 31st, Halloween. We now join Cochran taking Dr. Dan to the secret room marked final processing. He tells Dr. Dan that he created these men in suits and that they are very convincing, passing for human.
Yes, they are. They don't speak. They like to stick their fingers in your orifices.
I like these men. Wait a minute.
What?
So they make their way down to this area where a giant 5-ton piece of Stonehenge is sitting in the middle of the room.
It all makes sense. Thank you, white-haired king of this guy apparently invented practical jokes or something at one point, like the woman was saying, like, okay, so thank you to this guy. We get it now. Okay, you have your secret basement in the factory where you put your stolen piece of Stonehenge, and that explains the robot guys and the mass and the laser beams. Okay, is it all going to get tied together here?
This is where I want to take a second here to address the 5-ton piece of stone that was taken from a monument that is heavily trafficked by tourists in one country, over an ocean to another country. Okay. How? Because you're not, I guess he's so rich, he didn't have to deal with customs. Did he have like a helicopter lift it away and nobody noticed?
Nobody noticed a 5-ton piece of Stonehenge flying across to the other side of the globe.
Right?
Nobody noticed.
How
So
the
I'm
actual
thinking,
fuck?
if he has eye melting face spider creating laser beams, he maybe has like submarines or something. Maybe those have freaking lasers. Sharks with freaking lasers on there. See, Dr. Evil was onto something. I'm thinking this guy is like a Bond villain. That's what's going on.
Yes. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, in a movie that's been completely believable up until now.
Oh, has it?
My one question. Okay, we'll move on. So it's also surrounded now by this giant circular bank of computers. There are dozens of men or robots in white lab coats milling around, keeping busy. Cochrane tells Dr. Dan that this is a piece of Stonehenge, and boy, did he have a heck of a time getting it there. I guess that's how we're going to explain it.
Boy, are his arms tired. This fucking computer system is killing me though, because apparently when you're powered by a piece of Stonehenge, you can push a button on a dot matrix printer and that like changes the channel on your closed circuit TV. It's amazing technology, let me tell you.
So Cochrane touches a little piece of the stone that they removed, and then he rubs his hand on a chip and says that the effects of the stone magnifies the force in this chip, and there's a devastating effect. I don't know what the hell explanation this is of how Stonehenge is making this chip make these bugs. I'm at a loss.
So am I. The only thing I can surmise is this must all have something to do with witchcraft and the origins of Halloween. Hopefully, he will explain that to us later.
Cochrane now takes Dr. Dan to a TV monitor and tells him, watch this upcoming demonstration and you'll see the effects of this chip. Cut to this annoying family from earlier, dad, mom, and the asshole redheaded stepchild. They get taken into a test room that looks like a typical American living room. The TV suddenly goes on, and we get number 10, Silver Shamrock. Here we go.
Fucking A. Okay, am I at least gonna see this kid's eyes get melted by a laser beam and face spiders? Because if that's what I'm gonna see, I'm okay. The mom is sitting there going, is that this whole thing's a joke, right? She's looking around this room and I'm thinking, I'm right there with you, crazy mom lady. I am looking around going, is this a joke? And by that, I mean the movie. Am I being punked? Like, what the fuck is happening? Okay, it just melt the kid's face already.
So the announcer on the TV tells the kids, put on your masks, everybody. So the kid puts the mask on. But instead of the jingle now, it's going to change and play music. The jack-o'-lantern image starts flashing repeatedly like a strobe light. The little boy starts grabbing his mask, which is starting to melt and come apart, which I thought was weird.
Because the laser beams are inside the mask. See?
Oh, it must be. Okay.
When we saw it happen to Marge, she just looked directly into the laser beam.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Maybe there's like little reflectors. So it's like 300 laser beams or pew, 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 pew inside the mask, like just tearing his face apart. I don't know. We'll never get to see that.
I know. The kid just collapses to the ground. But then all manner of cockroaches, crickets, snakes start coming out of his head.
We have face snakes.
So the mom faints and the dad gets bitten by snakes and falls down and I guess dies. And maybe the mom eventually dies.
There was a rattlesnake up in that bitch. I saw it. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. This is my favorite part of the whole movie. Surely because of the giddy anticipation I suddenly started to feel. Cut to shots of children all across this great land of ours getting super excited to go home, put on those masks and watch the commercial the way he just did.
Yep.
I'm thinking, holy shit, is that where this is going? This is going to be a glorious ending. The payoff will all have been worth it.
Right? So Dr. Dan watches in horror and he does his best William Shatner impression with his closed fists and his angry face.
God.
That's immediately what I thought of.
Yeah. Shamrock.
Now we cut to a montage of kids, including Dr. Dan's little brats, all over the US in the same 3 masks, no variety, trick-or-treating, all in their silver shamrock. And number 11, the song plays over this montage.
Consume Conform, obey. Yes. I was like, okay, I can forgive every stupid thing up till this point. If that's where this is headed, that's the point they're going to make. And they're going to show me the money shot of all these fucking children wearing those stupid fucking masks, listen to that stupid fucking song. If that's where this is going, I will forgive the rest of the movie. Okay.
But we're going to fade instead of getting a good payoff yet. We fade into Teddy at the lab trying to call Dr. Dan at the motel, but the call won't go through. We see a man in a suit and black gloves. He must be bad. Grab a drill, like a Black & Decker type drill from a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And he pins Teddy down, and we don't get to see that he drills her head. Movie. Where'd the budget go? I guess gone at this point.
We had some pretty like shockingly cool gore and effects pop up from time to time. You're really going to cheap out with that? Better not let me down with the slam bang finish I'm expecting, movie.
So back at the factory, Cochran ties Dr. Dan to a chair, puts him in front of a TV, and tells him to enjoy the show.
He has to tie him up so he can give him more exposition and monologuing. It's really important.
So yes, Dr. Dan asks him, why are you doing this? And he gives the best response in evil villain history. He says, do I need a reason? What?
Hold on a minute. Yeah, game changer. So apparently Wes Craven isn't as original as I thought he was because, you know, Billy and Scream stole that from evil Irish mask making guy in Halloween 3.
Apparently, has your world been shook?
Oh, I'm shooketh.
But then he goes on, after saying that, to have a reason, after all.
Yes. Okay. Want, never mind.
He explains that his people, the Celts, 3,000 years ago, made sacrifices of animals and children on Halloween in a form of witchcraft. He tells Dr. Dan, it's time now again for these sacrifices because the planets are all in alignment for it. And he blames the celebration of Samhain. Okay, what the actual fuck? What?
So I gotta admit, this is kind of what I was expecting when I came to a movie called Season of the Witch. Was something witchy, some sort of witchy shit to do with witchcraft and Halloween and sacrificing of children. I'm here for it. Okay. However, too little too late, buddy, because he's throwing it out there and then immediately moving away from it. Like, where is the witchy shit? I was expecting it. And instead he's just going to throw that out there, but then that's that.
So then I did a little Googling when I was looking up how the hell do you move a 5,000 ton piece of stone. I also Googled origin of Celtic Samhain, etc. They sacrificed animals and then not so much sacrificing the children as much as everybody, the children and the people wearing masks to trick the evil spirits that would come through when the veil was thin between worlds, and they would trick them into thinking they were an evil spirit too because they're wearing an ugly mask.
Yes.
So they put those on the kids to protect them from the evil spirit. So they weren't like slaughtering children as this man would have you believe in his lame story here.
Well, I mean, maybe the ones you don't read and hear about were. Wink, wink. I would have loved a bad guy and a villain and a plot that revolved around that. The fact that he just kind of willy-nilly throws it out there for 10 seconds and then we've been sitting here this whole time and that's all we get. And then there's nothing witchy after that either. Really? As a witch, I'm offended. I came here for the witchy and I didn't get it. So I'm pissed.
So if there are any descendants of these Celtic child sacrificing witches that know about this, please email us and let us know how accurate this was.
We'd love to hear from you.
He puts the mask on Dr. Dan and leaves him in the room after turning on the TV. And of course, the movie Halloween is playing.
Okay, so suddenly I relate to Dr. Dan because he's sitting there tied to a chair, wearing a Halloween mask, watching Halloween on Halloween. All that's missing is the bowl of candy that I pretended to buy for the kids, but it's actually just for me. That's my Halloween night every year. I don't know about you.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So Dr. Dan manages to roll his chair over to the TV. Cochran didn't think that through. And he kicks the monitor in one kick. Boy, he really works out. That's what the women like.
Maybe he's hiding a sexy gym bod underneath all those baggy clothes.
No. So he manages to bust the TV in, get the mask off, and his arms are still somewhat tied, but he manages to throw the mask over the security camera. He like flings it with the flip of a wrist.
Right? That was an Aldo throw, man, like Oscar style, where it's just going to fly across and land exactly where it's supposed to. I love it.
Yes. So then Dr. Dan gets fully loose of his restraints and escapes the room through an air duct with less than an hour to the big commercial giveaway that's going to kill millions of children. So Cochrane discovers Dr. Dan has escaped as we see him making his way through the factory to a phone. He calls his ex-wife, tells her to get rid of the masks, and she accuses him of being drunk, which, fair, and tells him to go to hell and hangs up on him.
So in the opening scene, I thought she was a bit of a cunt, not gonna lie. Now that I understand Dr. Dan, I'm on team that lady. Number one favorite character of the movie.
So he runs off, stumbles upon Ellie's room where she's tied down to a table. They take off after he unties her. Cochrane's men in suits make chase. They wind up back in the main room with Cochrane and the stone. So Dr. Dan sneaks over to a computer, nobody sees him, pushes all the right buttons that are not labeled in any fashion, and starts the commercial early, I guess only on the monitors in this room. And that's number 12.
Yay.
Take a
Yep.
drink.
The stupid seizure-inducing video is playing again. All right.
So he dumps a box of those chips from the rafters all over everyone. Blue blue laser lights start shooting out of them and zapping everything.
Pew, 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 pew. Vanilla pudding all over the place. Oh, okay. This is pretty good. This is a good warm up to the big slam bang finish I'm expecting, which is children with exploding heads and snakes.
So all these electronics start to malfunction. All the robot men, in suits fall to the ground, yellow slime everywhere. Cochrane just stands there and watches.
And then
the giant stone starts to rumble and a blue light forms a circle around the monitors and starts swirling because that's what the stone is attracted to, as electronics. Cochrane looks up and sarcastically claps at Dr. Dan in a congratulatory manner.
He starts clapping.
Good job. You got me.
And then
you got me, Mr. Bond.
He turns into a black and white cartoon thing.
So
what's
so crazy, right?
I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, is he like going into the AHA Take On Me video or something? Is that what's happening? Because I'd be down to just turn this movie off and watch that instead.
So Dr. Dan and Ellie don't see this part. They have run off. Yeah, the blue light zaps Cochrane, which he turns into that weird image and then just vanishes into thin air. Poof, he's gone. And I literally said out loud, what is happening right now? Like,
it has something to do with Celtic witchcraft, laser beam robot. I don't know. I do not understand anything anymore. I'm very confused.
So everything in the factory, including the stone, starts to explode. Good job, sir. You've ruined Stonehenge. Everything catches fire. Dr. Dan and Ellie manage to drive away.
Well, we know that the robots, when they're really up a stream and they're fucked, they'll just self-destruct. So maybe Stonehenge itself is like, oh no, they're on to me. And then it decides to self-destruct. I don't know. I don't know if that's what's happening, but honestly, good riddance. Just blow the whole thing up.
So Dr. Dan now, as they're driving away, asks Ellie if she's okay because she's being real quiet.
He's interested in hearing her talk. The woman hasn't said more than 2 words for like the last hour and a half. Okay.
She suddenly grabs his face, causing the car to run off the road and hit a tree. So I was shocked by this. I was like, what's going on? Ellie, missing an arm at this point, attacks Dr. Dan, but he quickly dispatches her with a crowbar to the head, which of course is attached by wires, and she oozes yellow slime. How in the hell? There's no way she was a robot this whole time.
No, she was gone for like a solid 45 minutes of movie while he was running around getting his drink on and investigating everywhere. She just was MIA, and he was in no hurry to find her. So apparently in that short period of time, they abducted her and then replicated her in android vanilla pudding form. And then that's what he found in that room. So first time viewing, this is the second most surprising thing about this movie. The first most surprising thing is, why am I still watching this? The second most surprising thing is that it's kind of a twist. I didn't really see it coming. I remember the first time being shocked. It didn't even occur to me that they could turn someone else into a robot too. They're not just creating, these cookie cutter robots with the crappy haircuts and the bad suits. They could make anybody into a robot.
My question was, to what end? Why her? Like, who cares?
Because the guy in charge of the factory was the king of practical jokes. That's why
the joke's on us for watching.
Joke's on us for watching this movie. That's what I'm saying.
So now, after he's managed to knock her head off, he still gets attacked one last time for another scare, complete with music cue. The stray arm of Ellie's is still in the car. Her headless body attacks him. It's like the most bizarre.
Honestly, even after she's been beheaded, I don't see much of a difference in her character either way. So
Dr. Dan runs to the gas station, calls a TV station. He just has him on memory speed dial.
He just knows. Yeah. Maybe he was a phone operator last week. I don't know.
He tells him, don't run the commercial. But as misfortune would have it, it is now 9 p.m. on the TV. And lucky number 13, Silver Shamrock. Here we go. Kids in masks come to the gas station to trick or treat at this very moment.
Right.
And then go stand in front of the TV as Dr. Dan yells, "Stop it!" repeatedly into the phone as the commercial's playing. Cut to black. The end. Roll credits. Huh?
I'm just sitting there thinking that poor gas station attendant, that guy can't catch a break. At the beginning of the movie, he was a good Samaritan. A dude came running in, collapsed. He just took him to the hospital and then got out because that's none of his business. But no, here comes that same sleazy alcoholic doctor with the porn stash coming up into his gas station again. Like, this guy can't catch a break. They bookend the movie with this guy, this everyman who clearly represents the audience. This guy just happened to be in the wrong place, the wrong time, just like we were by sitting here watching this movie, subjected to the bullshit that is happening in this town, just like we were.
My thought was, where's the payoff? Because even if we're not going to show all the kids everywhere getting their heads exploded, at least these kids standing right there with him.
Fucking kidding me.
Right? Like,
you're telling me I sat through this movie and I don't get to see the mass murder of children.
No
Are
payoff.
you kidding me? Thanks a lot. Mustafa Akkad, you better make this up to me. Halloween 4 better be brilliant, sir.
Yeah, I was super disappointed that the big payoff was bizarre Bond villain we hardly get to meet just disappears into thin air.
No, he went into the Aha Take On Me video, which, I mean, honestly, that sounds like a reward, not a punishment, but whatever.
All right, let's jump to 3 questions. Question 1. Do you think this film would have been more successful at the time if it had had a cast? Let me finish the question. If it had had a cast of bigger stars.
No. What was the question?
Let's just skip to question 2.
No. You think if this movie had like more A-lists, popular, younger,
would it have been
attractive,
better, more well received? Yeah.
Good actors.
No mustache.
Would it have been received better, or would it have been a better movie? Those are 2 very different questions, sir.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, the script would have made this a better movie.
Yeah. No actor could have made this a good movie, unfortunately. It's a terrible, convoluted, stupid story, period. Doesn't matter who was in it. I think the money they did make was from the Halloween name. If Jamie Lee Curtis had been starring in it, they probably would have made 3 times what they made opening weekend, and then it would have died. So, bad story. It can't be saved by a good actor. Womp womp.
Good point. So, question 2, if you could add some more masks to the variety at Silver Shamrock, because 3 masks for all the kids in America is just not enough. What would you add? Personally, I'd like to see a werewolf in there, but what would you add? What would be a fun Silver Shamrock mask?
I think what's missing in this movie and in everyone's lives is a clown.
Ooh.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with a clown.
Yes. All right. And question 3, would you have liked more Halloween theme anthology movies in this series? Do you think that they should have gone this route, even though this wasn't a huge hit, versus Halloween 4 going back to Michael Myers? Should they have tried to tough this out, you think?
I think if this is any indication of the stuff that's going to get green lit, if this was the best you came up with, no. Someone decided to throw millions of dollars at this story. That shows a really bad judgment on the part of the producers. So please, God, no. I think there are plenty of geniuses and brilliant filmmakers who've gone into the whole Halloween and horror and holiday anthology. And there's so many cool ones. Oh, yeah, just no. The Halloween movies, they were wrong to stray from the formula. Halloween 4 and 5 are, in my mind, that they're my favorite Halloween movies to watch. They're highly rewatchable. They're so bad, they're good. And Michael Myers is back with a vengeance. Yeah, leave it with the Michael Myers thing. Even when it's bad, it's good, in my opinion, as long as Michael Myers is there.
All right, that is going to wrap up our discussion today on the amazing 98-minute Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And it's 98 minutes well spent if you like bad movies. I'm going to just say. So it's currently available if you guys want to watch it on Amazon Prime, also on AMC Plus through your local cable provider. I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to thank my co-host for joining me. We'll see you all next time.
0 days till Halloween. Halloween. No more days till
Halloween. Shamrock.
Ew.
That's going to be stuck in my head now.
Oh, I just threw up again.
Goodbye. Hey listeners, Movie Miss here. Listen, I know you have a lot of options when it comes to podcasts, so thank you for listening to the show. I know everybody says this, but for a fledgling little show like ours that's just hanging on, we just finished season 4, we're rolling into season 5, it would really help us if you could subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Good Pods. We're also on Pandora, Audible, Amazon Music. It would really help us grow the show and reach more people if you could subscribe and then rate and review, which is really the key part of it. Make sure to be part of our bad movie conversation by following us on social media. Interact with me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Movie Miss, which is movie_miss. The show is on Instagram at Let's Talk Turkeys. Also on Blue Sky at Let's Talk Turkeys and Facebook. We're on X. I'm honestly not sure how much longer I'm going to have the show on there, but currently the handle is at Gobble Podcast. Get it? Gobble, 'cause like a turkey. You can also chat with like-minded bad movie lovers in our Facebook discussion group. And like I mentioned, we're rolling into season 5. It is 2025. The show, it's been a wild ride, still going strong. So if you have a movie that you would like to hear covered on the show, let me know by emailing direct at letstalkturkeys, all one word, at yahoo.com. Also, hit me up on socials if you want to be a guest on the show. Always looking for guests. I can assign you a movie, something we think is fun, or you can bring a movie that you think is a bad movie if it has a low Rotten Tomatoes score, or you just really don't like the movie, but you like to talk about it. That's half the fun, I think. Again, this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. Without you, the show wouldn't still be kicking around. So thank you so much for hanging in there with us.
I'll be back.
Get the fuck out of here! No, I cannot.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Why don't you get the fuck out of here? Well, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.